Roz. There's been another aftershock of about 5.7 magnitude on the Richter scale today, so a bit more shaking. We didn't feel it here in the capital Taipei, but in southern Taiwan. In fact, I was down there in the south over the weekend, and it was just wasn't non-stop, because clearly there were plenty of times when things were stable, but probably 12 aftershocks throughout the entire weekend, including 2 large earthquakes. One on the Saturday night, 6.4 magnitude, one on Sunday, 6.8 magnitude, and that was the one that caused so much damage, bringing down a bridge on a coastal road, bringing down a structure at a school, collapsing a building where initially 4 people were trapped, although they were all rescued. That really was the one on Sunday that caused most of the problems in the eastern city of Hualien. And as I said today, there have been more aftershocks in that part of Taiwan.
So is Taiwan prone to earthquakes, Bill? How unusual is this?
Sure is, Roz. There are many earthquakes here because it is on a fault line, particularly on the eastern side of the island. And once again, it was the southeast which was the epicentre for these earthquakes and all the aftershocks. So people are pretty used to it, I have to say. But that said, people were pretty shocked by just how much movement there was in these 2 large quakes. I was in the city of Kaohsiung, and locals there, who you'd think would be fairly used to earthquakes, said that was a big one. That one really did feel hairy. You initially had a bit of a shake and you said, oh, another earthquake, and then it was prolonged, it got worse. You started to hear car alarms go off, you started to hear things falling off from balconies and so forth, and so you just didn't know at the time how long it was going to continue for. And that was the one on the Sunday afternoon, which a bit further up in Hualien caused so much destruction.
So how did you handle it then, Bill? Did you run outside, or what's the general advice? Did you know what you do in an earthquake?
Yeah, I'm under the understanding that you're supposed to find a load-bearing wall to stand near and sort of, you don't get under a table or whatever in case it whacks you on the head. But the problem was, I was down in Kaohsiung, we were staying with friends. I wasn't actually sure in their apartment if it was well built or not. I also had a 1-year-old who was sleeping at the time of the earthquake. He slept through it, but my instinct was also too to go into his room and make sure that he's okay. So the thing was, you're not certain how long the shaking will continue for, or whether it will get worse, and particularly with all these little aftershocks whereby you wake up at 3 a.m. and you go, is the ceiling rocking or is it my imagination? No, it's rocking. That kept happening throughout the weekend, so when you did have one of these big ones, you initially thought, oh, once again it's another aftershock, and then people really started to worry. It's quite an interesting thing to go through, and obviously the more of these earthquakes you experience over here in places like Taipei, the less worried you are each time you do get one.